Hi, I'm David, and I'm here to talk to you about cryptocurrency price analysis for Friday, May 31st, 2019. Today we'll be taking a bit of a deeper dive into Ripple, not just talking about where it is right now, but where it might be going in this larger bullish market. What new highs can we hope to see, and what levels might we hit resistance along the way? So without further ado, don't forget that like and subscribe below. Let's get right into it. Okay, here we have Ripple starting on the hourly. First of all, at the time of me shooting this, we've just experienced a pretty notable drop across most of the market. At this time, it's unclear if we're going to keep dropping or if we're going to hold. Most coins are currently still about along the lower end of their ascending channel that they've been on, but a lot of them are starting to look like they're just starting to break through that. Ripple certainly has. We might be in for a bigger tumble. We'll talk about where we're at right now with Ripple. The next few hours might be, a lot might happen, but this video is also about a longer term projection on Ripple, so it shouldn't matter too much. So here you can see, this is the ascending line we've been following on here for a little bit, but we just broke through that. We tried to get back above. I mean, this is on the hourly. We just tried to get back above. We were rejected. Now that could mean we're about to take a dip. Odds are good by the time you see this video, something about this is resolved. Either we got back up or we dipped. But basically, here's the longer term ascending line we've been going up on over the last couple weeks. So even a dip down to this, which would put us, either we'd hold above this 200-hour moving average or this line here. Even a dip down to here though, 40 cents, between 41 and 40 cents, would still very much put us on a bullish ascension here. And the same is true across most of the market, is that we could stand to take some losses here and it wouldn't ruin the bull run that we're starting to be on. So that's kind of the short term. It's either going to get back up above this. It could find resistance on this ascending line. And that could mean we either ascend at a lower rate or we, again, get knocked down to here. But most of this video is going to be about future upside. So I'd say that my downside prediction is at the lowest 40 cents. I think as long as there's not a much larger shift in momentum in the market, that we could probably hold above 40 cents almost for sure. So we'll see how that plays out. Again, by the time you're watching this, that might have already happened. But we also want to talk about more long-term, over the next few weeks, next few months, assuming that the crypto market stays relatively bullish. What levels are we looking at for Ripple? And for that, we need to both zoom out and invoke some other tools, most notably the Fibonacci retracement tool. So let's take a look at that. All right, here we've moved out to the daily, and I've applied the trend-based Fibonacci extension tool, which recently my colleague, Lorenz Pepler, talked about in an article doing some XRP analysis. And I just kind of wanted to show you the same thing here because it's a pretty good way of looking at it. We can take it from the recent low to the recent high and extend out the Fibonacci levels, and it gives us an idea of why we have some support where we do about 43 to 44 cents. That could be about to break. We'd see some more just above the 40 line. It kind of helps support the idea that there's some support at or about 40 cents. And he also used it to make the prediction that we'll find some more resistance as we get up at about 60 cents. And I think that's pretty valid. We also just recently had the golden cross. So putting aside the little bit of a dip we're watching right now, it actually looks pretty bullish, I'd say, for Ripple. Really quick, I want to zoom out even a little more and apply another Fibonacci on top of this for a slightly longer time frame, which basically is just to support and confirm some of these levels. So let's take a look at that really quick. All right, so here I've applied the regular Fibonacci retracement tool to the recent, this isn't the full last cycle, this is from a recent high back in September to the recent, well, both back in December, and actually recently we touched on the same lows. So we've applied this to that whole time frame. I just want to point out how as you zoom in and it's overlaid onto the other retracement we just did, and a lot of these levels match very nicely as to why we just got stopped out at about 48 cents. It also aligns almost perfectly with the idea of resistance at 60 cents. This isn't exactly any huge revelation. It's just further confirmation that these levels are probably levels that other traders are looking at too, and you are probably expecting to see some resistance at 60 cents once we are able to retest and get above 48 cents. Again, the golden cross we just saw is very bullish. I think that we're looking good to do that. So let's say we do get above 60 cents. What's it going to take to keep moving up? What's it look like after that? For that, we're going to do one more Fibonacci retracement and look at a couple other trend lines, and we're going to talk about what it'll take to get us up to, say, $1. All right, now here we are looking at the entire last market cycle, going back through to the end of 2017 through to now. And so I've applied the Fibonacci retracement tool, and we can see how, sure enough, our first resistance level is also at the psychological resistance of about $1. It's not too surprising. Then we've got some resistance levels at $1.40, $1.80 it looks like, and around $2.14. Now it'll probably take some time to get to those levels, so let's talk more about what it's going to take to get up to $1. So I have a few different trend lines here. First off is the very recent trend line that we were talking about earlier, and that one has us going up to the $1 level relatively quickly, and we'd be there by around, looks like late September, early October. Now that's a pretty short-term amount of data to be going off of. I'm not so confident we're going to really see that quick of an ascent up to $1. It's not impossible, but I wouldn't say based on this little trend that we're guaranteed to follow that trend. Then there's this much longer, going back before that last cycle, this much longer trend of higher lows that Ripple's shown. And I think this is kind of like the long-term bottom, but I also don't think we're going to follow this up to $1 because, I'm not going to extend that out. It would take forever, and I don't think that's what's going to happen in this bull market. Roughly speaking, I've just kind of projected this somewhat in between here. I'm basically going with the idea that we'll probably continue along this, but with more dips. And I could see, this is all assuming that the market's going well. Keep in mind, I'm going to harken back to last week when I said that I don't think the altcoins are pulling away from Bitcoin yet. So right now, Bitcoin's still basically leading the market. That's more or less evidenced when you look at across all the market. Like Bitcoin seems to be the market leader. The alts aren't pulling away. The dominance from Bitcoin isn't shifting to alts just yet. So this whole prediction could shift a little bit if we finally see a real altcoin rally. But roughly speaking, I think we're looking closer to like the end of the year before we see $1. If things are reasonably modest in our growth, kind of the way they should be, you're probably looking to see something that's not going to grow much faster than what we saw like it come down at into crypto winter. So if we can continue on this, I think we're looking at $1 by the end of the year. Now, when that happens, we probably will see some acceleration towards some of these higher resistance levels, and we'll definitely retouch on this as we get to there. But I think roughly speaking, and in between this lower end rising like higher lows and these very recent, very quickly rising higher lows, I think that's a safer bet. So to $1 by the end of 2019 would be my guess. Well, once again, that should do it for me. As I always say, this is not investment advice. This is just my personal opinion. Go do your own research, make your own decisions. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. Good luck with your trades.